Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We're seeing the Dow Jones. Good thing we were paying attention to that little bit of reversal signal down here on the DIA, since we do have a weekly expected move. We do have daily expected moves for all these stocks, guys, over on Patreon. Join up while you can. It can only cost you a cup of coffee, and it really will help you out, especially on Fridays when we give out those daily expected moves. But we do see the DIA getting a good bounce there. IWM as well, showing some reversal signal, able to go back in the range. So this is going to be very, very cool, because you do see, are these going to retest? The Dow and IWM have seen more dramatic downfalls, so is this just going to be a liquidity grab in some way to head down? Is this going to be a quick liquidity grab for the SPY? Or is this 2 hour going to curl up and we're going to see, hey, we test the high and maybe even go make a new one? That is something that we're going to pay attention to today as we do some technical analysis, just so you are aware volatility is curling down as of right now. Is this the first bar? Sorry. Yeah, that's the first bar. So as of right now, trying to curl down on that 2 hour, we should look for reactions here as that 5-day moving average is there. It means be a little bit careful towards this open. But something we were paying attention to was DIA. We were seeing if the Dow's reversal signals meant we were going to get a bounce or in some way. And you're really looking like, what? This could be some kind of big cup. And if we get that handle, this would be a great place to reject from. But it also could be a place to build up and move forward. So something key is going to be, does this extend, right? Because I believe the expected move is a little higher up. Can we fill this gap today would be very interesting. And then that would be a solid liquidity grab if we're going to see the next fall. If the 2 hour does curl up, we want to treat it as positivity, right? We saw the topping out signals. We saw the topping out signals for NVIDIA. But if that's going to make the next move higher, well, then you might get an hourly turn up and maybe we get another little point of divergence and then see something bad over the weekend. So I'd be very cautious over the weekend. This is saying, hey, something crazy can happen. We can see dramatic upside, but every time we've seen this signal, it's really played out. We haven't gone back in the weekly move yet. Right, so is it going to work 4 out of 4 times? That's what we're going to be paying attention to today. And good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? Everyone's got to be doing pretty good, right? Everyone's doing pretty good. Now, notice that the dollar is now testing that 5-day moving average. So this is something we were kind of waiting for, as if you really zoom back out, right, since this move higher, we have not even tested the 5-day. We've tested it all the way up here, right? So since that bottom, this is the first time we tested it. Now you're getting the second one, and we'll see if that can continue. No real basing out signals yet, just looking for if the dollar can curl up on a 2 hour chart. Something we'll pay attention to today is if the dollar is moving higher and the market's moving higher at the same time, because the dollar's kind of flat right now. We got to see what kind of decision is going to be made there. And I want to pull up 30-minute charts just to start out today, and really paying attention to see if the Dow can make it back into that zone. Cool though. Good stuff. Watching my channel from the beach. God dang, that sounds good. Where's my invite, bro? Where's my invite, man? All right, let me go get some stuff up on my other monitor here real quick. Got to make sure to keep an eye on a bunch of things for you. SPY going up, really wants to fill that gap. The interesting part about these expected moves is, where is this one? Well, it's at this high, but it's also at this gap fill. There can be resistance at this level. It's great that we're building back above the 5. We just hope that that can hold if you want more time extended in this upward move, right? So if that does hold, then I assume the 2 hour will be able to curl up there. Yeah, you can see if that's able to hold, that's going to be a big deal there. For the Qs, you're seeing a similar thing, right? The gap is right there, and your daily expected move is just above you, coming in at these highs. If you're going to see something crazy, you got to get this 2 hour to curl up. It's happening as of right now for the Qs, but watch out if resistance comes on early in the day. This could just be a liquidity grab. We could just hold these levels. This could be a liquidity grab in some way, and then we end up heading down. We have made a little bit of a lower low, still looking a little bit flaggy in here, so we'll see if that's anything we need to pay attention to. Obviously, the main thing is just, do these 2 hours curl up, right? Does the Dow, is that able to curl up on the 2 hour? That's going to be the main things going forward. Let me look over here at some other charts real quick. I noticed Apple was falling, now starting to buy back up. Tesla, a little drop, starting to buy back up. Amazon heading down, just popped up to the upside, now trying to curl back down. All right. I'm just going to click through on my other charts real quick. NVIDIA, that's going to be a big one just on the hourly chart. If that hourly can really whip back around, NVIDIA's got a shot to see some good price action. That's why it's good to join the Patreon, because you'll know exactly how high up the options market is pricing this to go today. I actually might look at that real quick too. So for today, for NVIDIA, it looks like gap fill is likely. I'm going to start to be a little cautious towards gap fill. That's my overall assessment there. All right, Dow's starting to fade that move a little bit. How's IWM holding up? IWM, great thing to gap back into the weekly expected move. That's fantastic. Now we got to see if we can take back that 5. Maybe we get a little move like this to then head in the upward direction again. We'll see if that's able to come to fruition. But the main one that I really wanted to see have a better move, kind of like IWM is the Dow. So if the Dow's struggling here in any way, you'd want it to more struggle with that retest, which happens to be where the 5 is right at that weekly expected move retest. If we're going to retest a higher level, something like 427 would make a lot of sense. But it's going to be very difficult to remain up there because we're very deep into negative territory for the Dow right now. All right, the Qs have filled their gap. Very, very quick fill of the gap there. SPY still has a little bit of room left. And the DIA has a lot of room left to go fill that gap. So this could leak into, say, next week, early next week. We just want to see if this is the SPY able to curl up on a 2-hour. Qs are SPY close. But you can see how it's like the SPY can go make a new high, the Qs can go make a new high, but what about the Dow? The Dow and IWM I'm paying attention to in case they get lower highs, because those are looking a little deeper. Those have seriously crossed over on the daily MACD. These last ones for the SPY and the Qs that have crossed over, it's like, yeah, but we built right back up at a weekly expected move. So we might have bought ourselves another day or so. Yeah, and you see Dow's not seeing that positivity. Now TLT, this was the trade setup that we were giving, and it's showing pretty well here. We just got to see if that can extend, right? We need that to extend, maybe get past that $93 mark. But still, great little signals down here on the 2-hour, actually. I don't even have to change charts. Look at that 2-hour signal. That's great. You want to see if that can curl up a daily chart, and you see this thing starting to whip back around. So TLT might see some good upside over the next week or two. And if this is going to see good upside, that might mean people are repositioning, aka taking money out of stocks, putting them into bonds. Now, that would lean me more towards a pullback for the time being. It might be a little bit more dramatic one to shake some people out, but for now, I think people like that guaranteed rate. If something else happens with this, that's when we want to pay attention. If something else breaks or something else happens geopolitically at the same time as people are repositioning, this would already have momentum, and then that would double down on that momentum. So good signals down here for TLT. Let's go back over to just some 30 minutes here. Okay, we have the Qs heading quickly up towards this move here, right? We're going up towards the daily expected move. We can see if there is some resistance there that curls you back up into positive territory, but look how close you are to negative territory. Not the best sign for us to be doing this. It's really not. And the fact that the Dow's not participating as much is a little bit worrisome there. Go check on our boy over here at AMC, see if that can curl up. I believe it was a 2-hour. 2-hour did curl up yesterday. I think that's what we talked about a little bit in the video last night. We can see if this is going to see a good move. You'd really want GME to be able to firmly cross up on this 2-hour, really confirm that for you, see a daily signal that can really tell you, hey, something crazy is going to happen. And you're kind of seeing that right now. Palantir, one thing to pay attention to here was this 2-hour actually saw some good bars at the end of yesterday. We actually did see one great bar right here with the cross up, and that didn't have a wick on it finally, right? We didn't have a wick on our cross up, so that's good. And then we're heading to the upside. We'll see if this can go a little bit higher. We do have daily expected moves for Palantir as well. Let me go check. Okay, good, I'm not muted. Let me go check on that. We can go a little higher than the high, but watch out for divergences up there. Okay, we're taking back the 5. Q's already heading towards that daily expected move. IWM, ooh, fading it a little bit, but getting a retest, right? Getting a retest. This is actually not bad, but you want to see if that curls back down. If that curls back down, that's when it's like, ooh, that's bad. So volatility still turning down at this moment, so nothing too much to worry about, but if this would curl back down, I'd be worried about IWM. DIA, same thing, right? If that curled back down, I'd be worried about DIA as well. I really think DIA should at least retest this level. If it goes a little higher, you see how we can retake the 5, use it as support, and then start to head the other direction. But we're not even getting some great price action just yet this morning. We'll also see how this PCC comes out. Just so you're aware, durable goods came in this morning. Came in negative, I'm pretty sure, negative 8%. And the previous one was revised down even worse to negative 8%. So the consensus here was apparently 1%. That's not what I saw yesterday, but okay. And then the forecast being negative 0.5%. So coming in at negative 0.8. Michigan consumer sentiment comes out in 20 minutes. And inflation expectations. All right, I'm going to put this one up on my other charts here. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the SPY. So a big thing here is going to be, you know, are we actually seeing things turn back down, or are we seeing 2 hours start to confirm up? I'm kind of leaning towards liquidity grab actually today, but if a 2 hour curls up, you know what I'm going to say. We don't really have the best reversal signals from volatility just yet. Let's see. Oh wait, it's on my other charts here. So main thing's just going to be watching this 2 hours, see if that can curl up into positive territory. It's great to be taking back the 5. That's a great big gap. We'll see if that's able to hold. We'll pay attention for some rigged behavior as the PCC does open up. The 2 hour for the Qs is curling up as of right now. First thing in the morning, it's a retail hour. Watch how this lands by the end of the day. AMD seeing a strong move. Okay, AMD did have 2 hour reversal signals in here, and it's taking back the 5, so that can start to curl up the daily, and look where that daily is. It is right by positive territory, so this is one to pay attention to at this moment. We are trying to do some kind of upward move. Just note that NVIDIA, if that thing falls, well, then everything else is going to fall too. At least that's how I see it. Go see if we can reach up towards that expected move, huh? Pull up some stuff here. All right, let me see what you guys are chatting about in here. Sorry about that. Can't see these last messages. Let me click off this and click back in. Daily, oh my goodness, I am so freaking sorry. I made them during the video. Oh my goodness. Jesus, I am so sorry about that. I completely just blanked. I am putting them in there right now. I'm sitting here looking at daily expected moves, telling you guys to go look at daily expected moves, and then they're not in the freaking Patreon because I'm an idiot. Couldn't tell from last night's video, I was a little busy, but that's not an excuse. I'm sorry about that, guys. Posting them without any kind of anything on them. Posting them now. All right, they should be uploaded. Jeez, I am just... Come on, man. Oh wait, I kind of want my other charts, but that's okay. I swear. Actually... And that one I can second for, and I want to do this more. That. All right. Average. Alrighty, so yeah, my main thing here is this just going to be a first, liquidity grab to actually shoot stocks lower, or is this going to be some kind of crazy upward move that takes us into next week a little bit? So that 2-hour crossing up's what I'm going to pay attention to for the SPY today. Same for the Qs. That's already happening for the Qs. You're already about to see something crazy there for the Qs. IWM has not done it yet and starting to give up that weekly expected move. And then DIA has not even made a move to really even try to go test the 5-day moving average just yet. See if it can do that today. That would be pretty bullish across the way. Nvidia, maybe we get one more turn up of that 2-hour as well. GME starting to flash positive just a little bit here, up 0.05, even though it's a red bar, that is up 0.05. We need to see a little bit better than that. I'd like it to retake the 5 as well. And volatility is shooting down right now. So we might be getting this to cross up if volatility can post that. Go click around on my other charts so you guys can just watch that for a second. Turning down. The 50 is sitting around $18, or not $18, the reading of 18. SPY really looking strong here. Just interesting that the Dow's not participating and IWM not participating as much. You want to see positivity kind of across the board. Oh, Qs violating the daily expected move now for the Qs. So the next resistance point you pay attention to is when the SPY hits its daily expected move. Wherever that price point for the Qs is, when the SPY hits that daily expected move, that's what you're looking for. Great move from the Qs so far, but now we're going to form that next divergence point maybe. Wow, what a move there though. And weirdly enough, off of that, we're seeing this start to wick up above there and the Dow start to go green again. So this will be interesting going forward. We'll see if this is some kind of big trap. 847, we see people are going towards the call side. We see the dollar is trying to base out here. That tells me I'm going to be a little cautious of this because we're starting to see the first inclinations of possible insider selling actually coming in. If that dollar can spike up a little bit more, that's when we'll really pay attention to it. But the volatility is coming down. You're getting that cross up of the SPY. So this can, well, not just yet. You're getting the cross up on the Q, sorry. But we did just come in, wait, where's the close here? 583.32, the high, 583.25. So we're just shy of that. What a freaking move. Profit taking can take place early on this morning, since that would be an unexpected level. Crazy stuff. Tesla up another 3%. Wow, that is so crazy. Oh my goodness. The most bullish earnings ever. Looks like we might have a cross up here for something like Amazon. We'll look for Nvidia. AMD already did it. Meta, we're looking for that to cross up. That is. So we might have bought ourselves some time. Easy, Microsoft, okay? Because you're outside of a weekly expected move now, buddy. Chill out for a sec. Oh, man. I wonder if this will end up being some kind of big trap. Because you do not have the Dow saying like, yeah, I wanna go higher here. It's up 0.4. It's not like horrible. Go look. GME finally turning up. Okay, this is what you want to see from something like GME. There you go. Oh man, uh-oh. Oh, is something gonna happen next week? Uh-oh, we're getting pretty tight here. Is something gonna happen soon? Pretty much right back here, I was like, hey, I'm watching this over the next few weeks because this is getting really tight. And AMC is starting to, like, you know, buy things back up above 437. We'll give you the updated level for next week. I mean, we shouldn't expect it to happen. We should just be in at the right times, and then if it happens, we'll say thank you. Wow. Good stuff. It is Friday, so I expect that to pretty much go away, honestly, for AMC and GME. No offense, still holding. Okay. That's so wild. All right, let's see if the SPY is going to go test that expected move or come up and fill a gap here. Nope, still not able to cross through to fill that gap just yet. Q's already definitely have filled that gap, and you're seeing something crazy. So now, if you start to give this up, this could be a massively bad signal if it turns back down. Now, if it wants to hold up, right, it could be bad. That's the key thing, right? It could be. Still need this bar to post. You want to see if that can extend for a little bit, see if you get this to go up for a second, then drop right back down. Then you're just making another point of divergence in the overall bigger trend. Wow, Tesla. Damn. See, the YOLO call I was going to do was like just some cheap amount for 265. Actually, I was like, if it's going to be crazy, I'm going to go something crazy. I almost took the 265. Like, holy crap. Oh, that's unfortunate. But congratulations. I know a lot of people were saying they made some good money off of Tesla. You ballsy people. Right now, we do have us going down into the call area as we're outside of a daily expected move for the Qs, as we reach the daily expected move for the SPY. And the dollar is holding flat, not seeing a big reaction yet. We want to see what that looks like by end of day. I think a crazy narrative would be like, oh yeah, all-time high, and then just over the weekend something happened. That would be wild. But I think that's... I mean, you're likelier as you get closer to the election, actually, to see crazier and crazier things. All right, let's just leave it here for a sec, see if we can fill that gap or something. Sorry about the daily expected move, guys. Thank you for reminding me. Jeez, I am... too much going on. Thankfully, we have a babysitter for today for 2 hours. I get a life for 2 hours. It's not just work, then baby work, then work, then baby work. I actually get 2 hours to like sit on a couch. Held Tesla for a long time, but it was the one stock that never made new all-time highs. Yeah, and a lot of that, you know, it is in the signals for Tesla at these highs, like, right? It was in the signals up at these levels, right? We saw the 2 hour divergence right in here back in the day. We said, watch out, because that's what can break you through. And that is what broke you through at this point, right? We're just going back to what we can actually look for. And you'll notice that at all these highs, 2 hour divergence, this high, 2 hour divergence, this high right here, 2 hour divergence, even this little one here for the pullback, 2 hour divergence. So it really helped us out. And then for the most part, you can actually see in here a 2 hour divergence on the RSI. You can see that. So whenever you see 2 hour divergences, that's a really good signal to pay attention to. Because we had 2 hour rejection divergence there. Here, I don't believe we had it actually though. Here we didn't really have it. That was more your lower high. So there were some tough times, but earnings saved it. There you go. That's so wild. 1 year inflation, oh good. Inflation expectations, cons 2.9%. Let me go look at that myself real quick, because it's easier to see here. Get it in, I get it in, well, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment and the 5-year inflation expectation. I'm supposed to get in 6 minutes. I wonder if you got that early in some way, but. I'm trying to think here. What is the most likely thing? I mean, if the Qs are curling up and that's seeing something crazy, I think you would just say the SPY going to a new all-time high seems very likely if the Qs are doing this. I think the SPY makes some kind of upward move here still. By upward move, right, I understand this is up. I mean, testing these levels, maybe even going to make a new one. Seems like people are starting to get to that call side. We just haven't seen that dollar pump yet. Wow, look at that move from the Qs though. Oh my goodness. Just strange, IWM not really participating fully. Now IWM's reacting to a decent place. Okay, it's a decent place to get to, and now you kind of want to see that consolidative stuff to then use that weekly expected move to head higher. But the key thing is going to be, can we curl up 2 hour charts? If we curl up 2 hour charts, we bought ourselves some time across the board. I was able to sell out at a profit for my volatility play, and now I'm going to start to scale back in. Even though I don't see signals, I just want to have some kind of position to start off in case something bad happens over the weekend with the way things are shaping up. And then once I actually see a signal, we'll actually put some money behind it, you know what I'm saying? SPY's still heading to the upside there. Ooh, shoot, I got it. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, guys, and I will be right back. Damn it. Yeah, I was looking at DIA because someone was bringing it up and just showing, like, the main thing I was talking about was how you would expect the Dow to have positivity if this is a real move. I'd watch out just in case things start to turn back down, because the SPY, this is a great move. Fantastic move. Qs, fantastic move. Setting up maybe a point of divergence. Great move. You have to say it. But why is the Dow kind of like not even, at least IWM's trying to take back the 5. Dow's not quite getting there just yet. So that's a little worrisome. I think Tesla hits 275. My level, the highest level I thought Tesla would hit from earnings was 265. 265. I looked back on it. I almost took the trade with it. I was like thinking about it. Then I was like, nah, I won't do that. Or I got distracted because of ADHD. But, I mean, you would say it's possible with this kind of move. I'm not going to bet against it in any way, right? What am I using for sell signal? I like to just pay attention to my MACD. I use divergences forming and weekly moves to mainly like take profit as a sell signal, right? So if we would, I mean, this would be difficult to do today, but you would more so be like this, okay? So this is my sell signal, right? When I start to see this pop up and I see this pop up and I go, okay, right here, I gotta sell stuff. That's more of a sell signal for me. All right, that's almost a take a short signal for me. And then we came outside of a weekly. I took a little profit there. Then when I saw the potential reversal signals from IWM and DIA, that's where I go, okay, let me take profit, see if there's some kind of bounce on Friday for options expiration as we're outside of those weekly expected moves, and then see what happens later on. So now my sell signal would be if the 2 hour is able to cross up and then curl back down, that is more my sell signal there. Which I need to keep an eye on. That. DJT real quick. DJT, another curl up. This does not look like a good signal for DJT, but look at this. The 30-minute curls up, you're going to see another positive move. 30-minute curled up this morning, so another positive move. Watch out if that 30-minute does rotate back down, right? Because that could just be a 2 hour blip happening here, right? Little 2 hour cross that then ends up fading more. You would like a further pullback, but DJT was known to possibly have a short seller problem. And that makes sense with the look at the chart. This is just straight down, like buying was not allowed to hit the tape ever. And so if they can't control that anymore, that would make a little bit of sense. But I'd still pay attention like a regular stock. If I see those things confirmed down, I'm not risking money for something that's a maybe. So if that confirms back down, if that 30-minute can cross back down, that's what I'd pay attention to for DJT. If you believe in the moment is happening now for DJT, okay, awesome. I would just say, you know, taking profit in these areas a little bit is a diligent thing to do. But you are noticing that that's happening at the same time. GME is trying to curl up on this 2 hour, give us that 2 hour higher low to then maybe go positive, which can turn up a daily chart. So we're looking for that daily to turn up, and that could happen on Monday with this if this 2 hour remains green. And it's happening at the same time that AMC just curled up on a 2 hour and got back above 437, and the daily is going to be reaching up towards positive territory, right? It's reaching that direction. It's still deep, but it's reaching. So all of this adds up to, hey, I mean, maybe the moment's happening next week, you know, maybe it's happening in the next couple of weeks, which we've said that for a few days now. It's just getting really, really tight on GME. Really, 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 really tight. Boom. So that's what we're looking for, seeing if that can get some kind of move. I think 47.57 was the level I was paying attention to for a big move, but we'll update you with this red line, the crazy level you need to get past to see a gamma squeeze. We'll update that Sunday. SPY, we got to dig in here. I think 30 minutes still will be good to see if this rotates back down. We're seeing it get to that daily expected move. Fantastic move. And this is why, if this move is so fantastic, why is the Dow is not seeing anything, unless we're seeing some repositioning back into stocks. But for the most part, the Dow not seeing much. Let me click over to IWM again. IWM, at least able to hold above the 5. IWM looks a little bit better. Hasn't curled up on a 2 hour just yet. Now, if we're going to head higher, this is a great level to consolidate and then turn back up, right? Now we've broken through this zone. We can pull that across. We can go, okay, this is a zone we pay attention to now. If we did this, even filled that gap, and then we turned back up, we could have bought more time going into pretty much right up to election time there. Tells you maybe the big moment is actually, for some kind of bigger downturn, is actually going to be the election. That would be interesting. Like a reaction to whoever gets in could happen. Who knows? But volatility keeps turning down, and that has not given any reversal signals. Right? Now we're looking for this, the 30-minute. If we're going to see like a ABC move to the upside or something, that head and shoulders pops up, we make another move higher, well, then you might see volatility do something like this. And that's where I really want to pay attention, because we're right around that 50. We can always cross down and go to the 200, but for now, if this 2 hour, the simple thing I can do is just say, hey, well, if this is going to form a divergence soon, well, then we might come down here briefly, get a couple of bars down, and then curl back up. And if that goes green right here, the chance of that going positive is very, very high. Very, very high. Here you didn't do it. Here you tried to do it, but we're kind of giving it up with the 30-minute here that we mentioned, and now we're curling back down. So positivity is possible still here right now. IA still trying to curl up. IWM trying to curl up. I believe the SPY should be with that move, right? It really should. But notice what we talked about, right? When the next resistance for the Qs is when the SPY gets to the daily. Look at the Qs starting to wick now as the SPY hits the daily. That's just a little hint. So actually, I might just... think I'll do anything crazy here. Let me think for a second here. Let me go look at some stuff. Ow, my knee. I hit my knee. All right, now we see the Dow trying to participate just a little bit here. Right, trying to participate a little bit. Can that 2 hour cross up? You got to see something crazy probably for that to cross up. Now, we did buy back into this area. That's good. So if we can consolidate, we might buy a little bit of time here. But TLT is really starting to... oh, wait. TLT actually turning down a little bit here. If that 30-minute crosses down, it's positive, but it's still close enough to the center line that that could get a little bit ugly. All right? So it means I might need to react if we lose that 5. But if this is going to go down and curl up a little bit quick, you might see that hold up better. This could just be a massive handle still forming. What's the one to pay attention to? Probably the Qs. Sorry, I'm just looking at stuff on my other charts as well. Good. Sorry, I'll get to the chat in one moment. Just crazy to me that the Qs are seeing something like this, something crazy. The SPY kind of seeing something crazy. And then at the same time, it's like IWM, yeah, it's starting. But the DIA just not really participating. Kind of worrisome, because these were the two, IWM and DIA, these are the two that you really want to watch for lower highs. Oh man, doesn't that look like it's just gonna cross up? But it's already seeing something crazy. Can it continue to see something crazy throughout the day? Of course it can, but the daily expected move would say that is unlikely. Oh, CPC last night came in at 0.69 too. A lot of calls. We violated that. Let's take the wicks. You break through that, we look for divergence. All right, let's go back over to the SPY. Just see how this is reacting off of that daily expected move. This is a great level to get to. So now if you can touch down and then go back up, that would be a good sign. But just be cautious if the Qs roll back down. Qs, did they go hit 500 again? Oh, what was that? The high was 499.95. Dang, that's close. All right, let me look at the chat, guys. Sorry, just been trying to really focus on some stuff real quick. Think we can close red today? I mean, you always can. It's just you want to see if the signals will tell you that. I mean, for now, it's saying, hey, we're seeing something crazy. We're forming, you know, a 2-hour divergence, if you will, right? If you want to look at it, it might be better to look at the extended, like, hourly here. See if that can turn back down. But the 2-hour here, if that turns back down, then yes. The 30-minute would have to turn down for that to happen. So if the 30-minute turns down, maybe that does happen. It's not suggesting it's highly probable. That's a pretty positive move. That's more suggesting, like, if we turn down, we might fill that gap, use this as support, and then start to head up, grab liquidity in the other direction. You've really flipped it, right? You're about to go negative into areas where crazy things can happen to the downside. Now you're going to areas where crazy things can happen to the upside. Yeah, and I'm still gonna use this as an opportunity. I used yesterday as an opportunity to take some profit on volatility, and then I knew, hey, this has a good chance of going up today. That's what we put in the video last night too. And we posted the Dow Jones to the Patreon, but that's not seeing the most upside, but you are seeing an upward move. And I think that this does have the likelihood to be a trap, but I also know that if the 2-hour curls up, we can see more positivity, and we have another level to pay attention to here, right? So that's the way that the SPY goes to a new all-time high. 2-hour crosses up. But right now we're seeing that resistance start. Yeah, Tesla just won't stop, huh? it said all this downward fear-mongering and said turn down for what? Well, if you're paying attention yesterday, we were really showing how, hey, this thing can bounce, right? We're reacting off of weekly expected moves. We're waking up above weekly expected moves. That's where you kind of expect a bounce if the options market is going to come into play. Think they're gonna hit for Tesla? It's no man's land, man. Tesla is just like screaming. We'll see if that can remain. But I think the real opportunity for Tesla, the next opportunity, is going to be if that 30-minute pulls back in any way, right? You got to reconnect with the 5 at some point. I mean, it can just go nuts, but I'd really look for that. That's more what I'm looking for an opportunity if I want to swing it for a little something. Because I don't think the 2 hours high up enough to really like maybe show, it could show a good trade, right? So I want to be open to that. If that drops a little bit more significant, right? But the 30-minute, I think, is what I'd be watching. Dollar actually still heading down, so no real rigged behavior showing up just yet. Let me go double check over on my other screen. Click on our buddy IWM. Ooh, NVIDIA's trying to do it. NVIDIA's trying to do it. Remember, the management of the trade important for NVIDIA. I gave you that management of the trade at 139.50. So from 139.50, you shouldn't be really taking anything down, right? The MACD's telling you, hey, this thing's going to go up, or at least most probable to go up. Now we have to see if that can curl back down, because that could mean, hey, now our timing might be better. Over here trading like water, flipping back and forth. I'm down. Gold looked like it was gonna turn down on the 30-minute, then just turned right back up. Oil seeing a solid little move here. Oil curled up on a 2-hour. Let's see, October 1st. October 1st was when we saw a decent downward move. Then we bottomed out around October 3rd. Then oil started to tap out around then. Interesting. Mara's seeing a downward move. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's making an upward move while Mara makes a downward move. Interesting there. No cross down for the 2-hour for Bitcoin. Something's weird. Something smells fishy again. I'm interested to see what happens by end of day. That's for sure. GME flipping back to negative. What we kind of expect on Friday, right? All right, let's see what you guys want to look at. NVIDIA hitting a major trend line. I don't really have a major trend line for this. I'm more just paying attention to the signal here and then going, okay, well, we have those times. This happens in bear markets all the time. So this is great practice, by the way. This happens in bear markets all the time. You see a good signal. You have a 2-hour behind it as well. So now you're taking a 2-hour trade saying that daily can cross down. Did the daily cross down? No. But how do you manage trades on a 2-hour? Well, in the course, we'll teach you how to do that. But this curl up right here said no more reason for downside. So you might be getting that one more move up, grab liquidity and go back down. Or this could be just keep going bullish. So you want to be careful with it a little bit here. But for the most part, this happens in bear markets all the time. So this is great practice to manage a trade maybe, and then see if that turns back down. And then you go, okay, reapply the position because we're closer to the center line, right? That's how I do things. And it works out very, very well when you have bear market behavior, which you do have right now. It just happens to be, you have bear market behavior and volatility, but you're not necessarily seeing it, I would say, in the price action, because you're not getting the massive, massive swings. Usually you get even bigger swings than this. Yeah, you have bear market behavior right now with volatility. This is what a bear market looks like. This is exactly what a bear market looks like, except it's usually a little higher up. Usually a little higher up. It's usually above 20. But you're getting it just below 20. So that's why you're not seeing the massive, massive swings. So like if you go back and look, see how bear market's just when it's holding this, but notice it's above 20 here. It's above 20 here. That's the key thing that's different from right now. This is why I think the trend is overall remaining bullish, is because you don't have volatility high enough. Dollar, we just want to see if that can curl up on a 2-hour, if we're going to use the 5-day as some kind of support, because we've used it this entire run. The only thing we've really reconnected with the whole time on the daily scale is going to be that 5-day moving average. Hold. Excuse me, sorry. Whew. Okay. Nvidia strong move though. You can see that 2-hour wanting to cross up maybe for another bit of time. Views are still going, but still nothing from the Dow. IWM still relatively flat. I mean, obviously the gap up, but I'm saying off of the 5, you'd want it to retake that. Let's see here if I'm does Google and Google trade the same? Yeah, their charts are going to look very similar. Thank you. Oh yeah, it does, Jackal. Especially when you have to hold it in because baby's like sleeping and you're like setting her down. You got to sneeze and you're like. But yeah, Google and Google, the charts will look pretty similar if you just look at this, and then I could probably just pull up this, and you're gonna see it looks very, very similar. There might be some small differences. Also, can this break through? Maybe we're about to see a big move from Google. Not bad. Not a bad look, actually. Wonder if we get some bullishness into next week. That'd be interesting. When we're hanging on by a knife's edge here. I'm not buying it, though. All right, there you go. So we're seeing something crazy here. That means the 2-hour probably going to be able to curl up, and we'll see if that can reach higher prices. But you're experiencing something crazy right now, which is obvious with the gap and how this is just pushing. I like Goog, G-O-O-G. Usher performed for Kamala. Yeah, Beyonce's next, homie. Apparently there's a big video being sold on the black market of Beyonce, Diddy, and Jay-Z. You can imagine what they're doing in it. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't know if that story's even real. So, allegedly. But yeah, I pay attention to G-O-G, Goog. Wonder what they're saying out there. Try. Oh, let's go, Lex be shouty. Machai. Chai. This one here, looking for probably daily pullback, right? Daily pullback, daily upside. That's kind of what you're looking for on that. That's about it. Daily swing trade there. I would say Google's got a good shot of seeing some good stuff if we can get a strong breakthrough, right? If you get the daily to move up like this, hey, Google starts to participate. That's the squeeze scenario, which volatility has to drop below the 50, and volatility has a good chance to drop below the 50 right now. I'm still thinking, you know, well, this could be a trap because if Google's going to see major upside, Tesla's already seeing major upside, Microsoft's seeing a pretty good move there, Nvidia's making the next move higher. It's like, man, this thing's going to go that much higher. 600 might be actually on the table there. But this is leaning towards what? Well, we'll see if it can make a 2-hour divergence, but the 50 is starting to whip back around. So we are getting a bunch of consolidation in here, which makes sense because the SPY is getting a bunch of consolidation up here. I'm just a little worried this might be a trap today, but I'm not seeing the trap behavior just yet. The dollar hasn't based out. And the PCC is going back in the upward direction just a little bit. You guys, no trader can tell exactly where a stock is going to go by end of day. Do I think it has a chance? If you ever ask me, does it have a chance? Yes, there is always a probability of something happening, right? It's just, is that probability good or bad? One thing you can do is look for your daily expected moves, right? Is the daily expected move within the number that you are mentioning? Because that would suggest then it's very possible today, very possible, right? We gravitate towards those levels. So Tesla, technically, yes, it could go to 270 today. You know where else it could go? 250. You know where else it could go? Let's see. 200. It could go to 200 today. And it would make sense according to the options data. I just want to look at those levels and say which one makes the most sense. Well, the most sense would be about 270 with the upward direction, with all the things going on. But if it's going to pull back, then I have to look for a different level and then think of which one makes the most sense. So does it have a chance of getting to 270? I'd say the direction that it's going right now, I would say yeah, but I'd also say, hey, I kind of missed out on most of the move here. I'm not going to jump into something because I'm getting FOMO'd or something like that. I'm looking at the bigger picture right now and going, hey, if this 2-hour crosses up, what's the, I'm kind of thinking like, what do I talk about over the weekend when we go over the macro side? Well, we're still going to talk about those weeklies, but if this does that, that's going to be a form of weakness and you're starting to get really, really tight, right? Notice the SPY getting really, really tight here. We're getting tighter. We can still make moves up, but let's watch out in case reversal signals pop up. Because we have a couple of things that are not participating as well. IWM finally seeing some good stuff though. There you go. But this guy is worrisome. The fact that this is the one that had a reversal signal. SPY and the Qs didn't really have it, but the DIA had the reversal signal and that is not seeing the upside. So this could be some kind of liquidity grab is all I'm saying. Now, you would say Qs going past that, it's more likely not a liquidity grab, but you would say, hey, now I need to look for trap behavior in some way. See, we're reaching maybe to the top here. Not my best bottom line drawing in the world. But I'm not an artist, okay, guys? That's my wife. Now we want to see, does that taper too, right? And we got to see if that exceeds this high. I'm really still leaning towards pullback. Remember when we talked about that? Man, people were hoping Tesla would save the market too, and I think Tesla is a big reason this is seeing upside. Oh yeah, let me look at this. Michigan consumer sentiment coming in at 70.5. Michigan 5-year inflation expectations is 3%. Inflation expectations final came in at 2.7. So there is some decent news out there. I don't think durable goods going down is like the best news. Volatility still not breaking the little trend it's held up at right above the 50. The reason I drew this is because this is all above the 50. Once we start to lose that, we might start to lose the 50. So that's why I'm having that drawn up there, just a line. Kind of like a line in the sand. Dow just getting all these wicks, man. Not even going to a daily expected move like everything else. IWM, I believe, is about to hit it. IWM about to hit its daily expected move. About 30 cents left in it. Now, if it would react up to this level, it wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily, right? You kind of repaired a lot down here to head higher. And now you want to see, okay, is that going to kind of give you some kind of turn down and then react back up? Because you want to remain healthy in this move, I think. It's too early on to just be like, yeah, let's see that big move. No, I think you want to remain as healthy as possible, and then you can see that big breakthrough if you're going to curl up a 2-hour here. But SPY outside of a daily, Qs outside of a daily, consolidation or trap would be very likely here, especially if that dollar base is out. Interesting oil making that move. Okay, Palantir. Palantir currently outside of its daily expected move and reaching up towards its weekly expected move. Have some time left in this though. So the 4-hour could be curling up here. So this could, you know, on Friday as these moves happen, you don't have much time to come back into those. But we'll see. Shit, I'm worried about a trap over the weekend now. So I am going to hold a small volatility position just in case something bad happens. So great, I'm glad I took profit yesterday on volatility. Now I just get cheaper prices for my first scale in, and then I'll see if things turn down and add some money to it. That's the plan. Because this is a good move. Hasn't crossed up yet though for the SPY. It has, I mean, the Qs are pretty close, right? You're 56 minutes away. 56 minutes away, and that could mean, hey, we're gonna head up towards 504. But it might need consolidation first, and then we get new weekly expected moves next week. Apple, what are you doing? Apple trying to see it. NVIDIA 2.3, so the hourly turn up is happening here. But I more so just want to see anytime this 30-minute does fully curl back down. Because we're holding the divergence point as of right now. Unless that fully extends, then I'll be talking about, hey, maybe this is just some kind of, you know, if we get rid of the divergences, then hey, you'd say upside trend still holding. Huh. Sip of coffee, maybe that'll help. Utilities confirming divergence at the highs. That's a signal we watch, so watch out. The dollar on the 2 hour, you still got to see this thing curl back up, but the dollar still at elevated levels. We have not seen any of this selling really come in. We are at that 5-day moving average. Now we have to see, can we cross up into positive territory for the dollar? Are people overall bullish? I think most people are. We're not in extreme greed yet. Kind of backed off because of that pullback. Okay, so sorry I was clicking around on some stuff. I gotta remember to put you guys back over on the SPY because we gotta see if we're gonna hold above these type of moves, because that's a great move. We go right up to it. Q's blew past it. That's crazy to me. But they did cross on a 2 hour right away. You see that 2 hour momentum kicking in for the Qs. All right, let me see what you guys are chatting about. Sorry about that. 10-year also climbing. 10-year starting to base out. This does say a 2 hour curling up is possible here. And I would say if we're going to keep the correlation that we have right now with the SPY, then it would make sense for the 10-year to go up and the SPY to go up. So that would make sense. What you're looking for is when that correlation kind of doesn't stop, actually just goes the other direction. So right now these are moving a little bit in tandem. The differences between TLT and the SPY, which is what we mentioned. So you want to see when people start repositioning here and then taking money out of stocks because they like the yield. Exactly, Max. And that's why I'm like, ooh, why would this be something? Why would this? Because this 2 hour curls up, you see more upside, right? It's very simple. 2 hour curls up. Every time this 2 hours curled up, what's happened? More positivity, right? Even when it goes into negative territory, 2 hour curls up, what happens? Well, one more drop down, but we go grab those buyers in our zone and positivity. 2 hour curls up in negative territory down here, and what happens? Hey, well, one more curl down. That's why we pay attention for those managements, and then we get back in and we go, oh, positivity. So if the 2 hour curls up here, what should we expect? Well, it would be crazy to say something different's technically going to happen. You would just say, hey, positivity, but if I see the reversal signal, that's where it comes down. Now, this has not crossed up yet. The Qs have. Volatility. Ooh, volatility gaining some ground. Now you still want to look for, you need that 2 hour to go back to positive. You need the daily to turn up, right? The main signal with volatility is the daily crossing up. I know people want to do the short time frames. You want to make money fast. Look at dailies too. Dailies are great. You'll see daily divergence. You'll see daily everything. So if I can't react in real time, if I have something to do, some kind of job, something like that that needs time, and I can't stare at markets all day, well, then I'd be looking at daily charts or investing on monthlies. And you just look back and be like, ooh, it's not good for the monthly. Dollar, not necessarily shooting up, but you mainly just want to see if this 2 hour can confirm that momentum. Because you notice this has divergence all across it. It never played out. I don't really mention divergence too much on the dollar. Just said here on this first one, hey, that's very significant. That could lead us down to the 5 or cross down for some kind of pullback from the dollar. Didn't really happen, and then I haven't really talked about it since because we don't necessarily see, like, you'll get divergences all the time on the dollar with these type of moves, and we have weekly that just crossed up last week. Now you're seeing that weekly extending. So I'd just be careful. This thing starts to curl up. It might mean something bad over the weekend. But exactly like Max said, that would have to be something pretty random, I think, at this point, because all of this looks super bullish. This is even a more... I thought we would take our time getting to that daily expected move or something like that, and then that would really give us, say, hey, that's an opportunity. This, making a magical move outside of a range, is really saying, is this a grab of liquidity, or is this the next move higher? And I think we need confirmation from our MACD to really figure that out. Well, if it's going to make good consolidation, Mason, this would be the best thing for the SPY to do if you want to remain bullish. I know we're talking about, hey, if this curls down, it still could get ugly. But here's the thing, you just broke out of a zone. If you curl back down into that zone, what's happened around these areas? Well, we've gotten a lot of wicks. We've gotten a buy up in this zone before. So if you're making structure to head higher, that would be a good look. So I think that's maybe the opportunity for more upside. But if that turn never comes or turns and fails, then you would say, okay, is this 2 hour rotating back down? That's why we're mainly just looking for the 2 hour to confirm this move. It's a great move. You need probably the Dow. You need the Dow to participate because this one actually had reversal signals. It saw a further dip. Right, so the reason I'm hesitant on this move already, and I really wasn't hesitant going into today. I was like, oh, this is going to be a strong move. Awesome, that's what we were talking about. Hey, there's potential for us to make the new all-time high if this happens, right? That was the video last night. You know, everyone thinks we're always bearish, but when we see signals, we're going to flip. We trade like water on this channel. If you don't like people who flip back and forth, well, I encourage you to maybe... You're probably not going to watch the best traders. The best traders are willing to flip back and forth at any moment because they know a stock can go up or down at any moment, and we don't know exactly where it's going. We're just looking for a high probable move. This was a high probable move, but is it fully going to play out? It's not on a 30 minute, it's on a 15, so it actually is playing out. You're seeing that hourly turn up. But if we reject off of the 5, right, this would be the great level to get to form something to go higher, but this needed more positivity because this actually had the reversal signal. The SPY really didn't. It just V-shaped a little bit, right? We kind of consolidated in some way to remain a little bit healthy. That's why you just got to be a little bit worried about it, but... Actually, that's why this is a great move, and in order to head higher, you want to continue that, is what I meant to say. Sorry about that. You want that to continue to have good structure, get some kind of flag right here, then produce an upward move, go up into next week, curl up that 2 hour. This move today would hurt the most people by rug pulling. Some people to the put side. I mean, you could look at Max Payne for the day. If you want to talk about how people can get the most hurt, just pull up Max Payne for a second. I know options have changed, and this only updates, I believe, once in the morning. Okay, what is today? It's 25th. So where are we at? We're at 584-ish. Well, 580 was your major call wall, and we're above that. So if we don't give that up, you can see those puts really start to... hurt, go into some pain, and we might see this thing squeeze because you're above 580 and you can go all the way up to 585 before you hit the next call wall. But 475 is where you kind of have that put wall. So you have the put wall really, really low here, which kind of invites like, hey, if this rug pulls in some way, if this is a blip and we're not going to see buying but get more buying because we're above 580, well, 580 way down here, well then, if we lose 580 and use that as resistance, then you can start to head down towards that 575 level. But for now, you're above that call wall, so you also can now use that as support. So we'll pay attention if this 30-minute rotates down, dips down in, and then curls right back up. Down, rotates back up. That would maybe be the opportunity for an upside move. The state of the market, though, is the daily is rotated down. The state of the market for the Dow is that's rotated down and still outside of a weekly expected move. That's bad. IWM is back in the weekly expected move, but down, and you see how many multiple point divergences. We got like 2 right in here, and so that's a little bit worrisome. but we haven't seen the weekly macro signals confirm, so we always can make an upside move. It's just those moves are most likely going to get smaller. You notice how this works. Big, medium, small, extra small, and then rug pull, right? That's what could be going on here. So we're paying attention to the right things. We know that we're paying attention to the right things because we said upside potential for today and upside potential for today, but is it a liquidity grab, right? We have upside happening. So is it a liquidity grab or is it going to cross up and we see an extended move, maybe do a daily expected move on Monday and then we see resistance come in? We're getting really, really tight here. Trust me, we will mention if there's a bullish opportunity, 100%, but you're not seeing it for the SPY just yet confirmed. You're seeing a great move. But is that going to hold good structure to create the opportunity? That's kind of more what I'm talking about. Volatility trying to wake up a little bit. Dollar trying to get some green here. We'll see if that can turn up. PCC at 0.86. So people starting to get a little bit more towards the middle here. Mainly towards the call side still. You're still below about 0.9. But call side is mainly what we want to see, and then we want to see if the dollar's heading up at the same time. If I see that look, by the way, just mentioning this early on here, well, early on, actually, it's 9:46. This market's been interesting, so I've been clicking around a lot. But if we see rig behavior, I will hop back on the live show at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, that's when you see the craziness a lot of the time, right? So we'll pay attention to it for you. The last time we caught a very crazy move, you want to go look at it. We saw the rig behavior. It was May 30th at the closing stream. All day we kept mentioning, I think this is a rig move. That's when I had all my haters come out and say, you're an idiot. This is crashing down. You're an idiot. And it was a bullish one too. So they were like, you're an idiot. This is crashing down. You're a psycho. I don't know what you're talking about. And then in real time, like 150 people were just like, holy crap, this thing just moved 12 points in 7 minutes or something like that. That's why we pay attention to it. All right, hopefully you like daily expected moves and the fact that we give those out on this channel. If you like daily expected moves, please leave a like on the channel. I would really appreciate it. Let's get some new people in here today. Low put call ratio, technically 0.86. You want to be down more towards 0.8, but you can see throughout the day we've reached those levels, yes. DIA is dumping, and that's the worrisome part, so I hope that people are paying attention, and if you saw this posted to Patreon, you knew, hey, we were looking, saying the Dow said a bounce could happen. Now we have to see if it's going to have some resistance at any time. Right, this has not curled up on a 2-hour, it curled up on a 1. If that 15-minute rotates down, where is it? Negative territory. It still has opportunities, as it's a little bit positive, not very positive, to fill the gap and turn back up, but maybe that's the real opportunity. We'll see. We haven't gotten a full retest of even the 5 just yet. Tesla moving down. Well, Tesla getting a little rejection here off the 15, so not confirming, hey, we're just going to be bullish forever. Remember, 30-minute pullback is what I would just, be patient as a trader, because if I see a massive move, this is how they FOMO you. They give you one big bar and you're like, oh, I'm missing out on the next 20% move. No, a 20% move pretty much already happened. So if you really want the opportunity, be patient, look for an opportunity. This is not a very obvious opportunity. This would be, right? That would be an opportunity. So we'll see, but it's outside of it. It touched it went up close to a daily. It was outside of a weekly. But nothing about that says, oh yeah, let me jump into this with all my heart. We're hoping that there's consolidation here. If you want like more positivity, you need consolidation. You don't want to see some kind of rug pull, because the dollar has not scaled up dramatically yet. People are going to the put side, actually 0.9 now. Nvidia is one I want to keep my eye on. Thank you for bringing it up. You guys are great. You guys are fantastic at keeping my ADHD in check. Nvidia, pretty simple. 2-hour signal still here. Management of the trade, right? If you take the course, you're going to understand all this. 2-hour right here. Management of the trade. 30-minute rotates back down. You go, okay, that's maybe the opportunity. If that rotates back up, you say, okay, now we're going to make a new bullish trend. right? If it starts to curl up multiple times, you don't want to keep trying to call the downfall, right? You more so just want to be like, hey, if the first time starts to fail, I could take a chance with it, see if that rotates down the daily, and then if it curls up again, that's where it starts to go, okay, now we're going into a 30-minute bullish trend. Maybe it's a little more extended. AMD actually getting to a great level to consolidate, right? Coming right up to here. Coming right up to here. It's great. You're taking back the 5. If you can base out, use that 5 as support now, that might not be a bad thing. And if this MACD curls down and curls back up, maybe that tells you that. That's what I'd look for AMD. Just notice it's been way down. The Dow kind of suffering, still consolidating. I don't even think it's in the best area to consolidate for my liking. If you consolidate, I would like to do that right before the breakdown area, which happens to be right here where the weekly is, which happens to be right where the 5 is. I would have liked a reaction to the 5, consolidate or consolidate down, and then curl right back up. Because that would be cup and handle. That would be a breakthrough of a breakdown area with some structure, but this is a little low, I think, for my liking. We'll see still if the 2-hour crosses up. That's possible, Max, yes, and that's definitely possible because as inflation goes higher, profits, margins, all that stuff usually spreads out. Yep. We actually have a delinquency. Let me look that up. We used to pay attention to delinquencies. If you look at this, this is something we used to pay attention to. Let me see the ticker here, DRCCLAC. DRCCLAC. I've brought this up in the past. This is credit card loans. It's just a form of loans that we can pay attention to. I gotta go way, 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 way down here, actually. Okay, there it is. I just want you to see the monthly signal, the 3-month signal, sorry. So this is saying, hey, what? I have divergence here for delinquencies. So the reason I'm talking about this is because we're talking about profits for companies. Well, look how many people are starting to go delinquent. A lot of people are using credit cards, loans in some way to keep themselves going these days. And you're noticing that the delinquency rate is spiking. It has been spiking since 2021. So delinquencies, you can see that credit cards have been a big reason people are able to stay afloat, in my opinion. And you're noticing that we're seeing this type of signal. What happened the last time that we went positive? You know what happened the last time that we went positive on this? Well, look, 2007, 2008. So once you start to get about probably like 4%, or 4, that's not looking good. All right. So right here, you'll notice we based out and boom, positive move. That's the key thing. Where are you now? You're going positive. So it invites something bad to happen. This is just something that I keep my eye on every once in a while. I know we haven't looked at it too much lately because we've been mainly paying attention to unemployment. Oh, we're still on a 3-month. If that 30-minute can rotate back up. Apple testing a key level again. So Apple testing the breakdown area. That's where Apple is. Testing breakdown area. And then NVIDIA, Amazon filled its gap. NVIDIA filling the gap. And then the SPY filling a gap. Hitting that resistance where we just sold off from, really. But we notice where we gapped above, though. Very important. We gapped above this level. That is where the sellers were. So we gap above it. Qs, we kind of, you notice this for the Qs. Where did we consolidate? We consolidated in the breakdown area. That's what I want to see from the Dow. But are we seeing it? No, we're not. We're seeing it lower. We want it to consolidate here, maybe even a little higher right in here, pretty much the weekly expected move. That's where you want to see it. Doesn't mean it's not possible to still make the move. It just means that would have been better, I think, for the Dow. And still, look how much deeper it is. So even if we do that, fill the gap, it can turn right back down. Then you just have a massive handle. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. By the end of the day, I'm sure we'll figure something out. But I just wanted to say again, I will be going live later today if I see some rigged behavior. We're not necessarily seeing that just yet. Okay, let me see what you guys are chatting about. That's why banks are having good earnings. How do you set a 5-day? I'll teach you guys how to set the 5-day, this blue staggered line, because I think it's really cool. And I've always wanted to do it, but for some reason, my little peanut brain couldn't figure it out. And then once I did it, I was like, I'm an idiot. Okay? You're going to feel kind of interesting, right? So here, I'll delete it so we can do it in real time. All right, SMA gone. Okay, so all you have to do here is type SMA. All right, and then you get the moving average simple, this first one right here. We just click that one, right? Now we have it on our chart, but you'll notice it's not showing up. So how I get it to show up is then I'll click on this and it says SMA 9. So we need to immediately change that to 5, right? Then we need to go down a little bit lower, SMA 5, make sure it's on the close. And then the chart, see the chart, it's saying whatever chart it is on, it is going to map. So if I click out of this right now, it's going to be below us, right? You'll notice it's a 5. This would be a 5 on the 2-hour. This would be a 5 on the 2-hour. But what we want to do is take this little time frame one right here and then go like this and select 1 day, wherever that is, 1 day. Because now it's going to come up on as a daily, and you'll notice the change, right? And then I'll put wait for time frame closes. I'll just look at that, right? But I probably should wait for time frame closes. So we'll just unselect it because I've been using it unselected. You'll notice what did we do? Now it's changed, and now you're seeing it on your chart. So this is the 5-day moving average, and what did we do? We gapped above that to start the day. Isn't that cool? So there you go. Does that get it for you, John? Also, what's the volume look like here? Not the worst volume. Probably want to go to daily scale to check that though. Ooh, ew, ew, ew. How is TNX and the 10-year down? Well, because the TNX is pretty much the 10-year, right? And you had reversal signals from TLT suggesting that the 10-year was going to come down, and you even have a reversal signal right here on your chart on the 2-hour. Now that looks relatively controlled, so you can make one more little move up maybe, right? You're reacting down to what? The 5. That's why we like to have the 5 on here. So I don't like this in blue. Oh, and visibility, make sure it's selectable on this. I kind of want a light blue. I'll do blue. Blue's fine. Right? Blue's fine. We'll leave it like that. So, because I think I've had it like that maybe. So this can make another move up, but it is showing weakness in momentum. Yeah, her name's Ariana. We call her Ari. She's doing great. She's very, 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 very mobile now. Like speed demon mobile. She learned how to crawl, and then 2 years later, she was a freaking speed demon. So she's running everywhere. Thank you for asking, Nyson. I do appreciate that. She's running everywhere, touching everything. So, you know, bonking her head on everything. So if you ever hear her randomly cry out, she probably opened a cabinet and smacked it into her face. But mainly she likes to, we have, you know, my wife's little dog, Toby. He's an old man. She just chases him around all day. GME trying to push, and that's something to pay attention to, I think, right now, is this. Look at that. 2-hour signal confirming here. What does that mean? Why are we paying attention to this? Because look how tight you are. This says something massive might be happening soon. Like very soon. Look how tight you are. Something very soon. Now, if they wanted to, they could leak this out for a long time, but if you remain in here and you see a breakout, we're going to update you that level on Sunday, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Look at that, Sis Slayer. Also, that's a Star Wars reference, because now you're making me want to play KOTOR. AMC doing the same thing, right? Doing the same things, trying to get some positivity here. That's great. Very tight on the Bollinger Bands. We'll see if something happens. You know, we've been mentioning this for a couple of days, showing the setups for GME, and I'm like, this thing's getting so tight, I'd watch it for the next couple of weeks. Now, another one to pay attention to is actually DJT, because that had reversal signals to the downside, but you're noticing it's getting rid of those. So not only are you in a time where Nvidia's topping out, it looks like it is, but you're also in a time where DJT's already making a big move, AMC's basing out, GME's basing out, the Dow's failing the upward move while the Qs go higher. So you always have to have it in your head that these things can easily be fought against because they do not want these stocks to go up. Okay? That's pretty obvious at this point. So you always have to be open to being like, hey, you're not trying to get the exact moment, right? You're just trying to say, when is it probable? And I think when this daily turns up, it's probable. I even think that if this 2 hour turns up fully, I think it is probable to turn up the daily, so I might react, right? Nvidia, you just want to see this. If this does not happen today, then that's where you kind of have a problem. I don't know your expiration or anything like that, but I would say if I did have shorts in this 30-minute cross down, I would feel a lot better. I would feel like, hey, we still have the 2 hour signal. We're just getting the management, the rigged move that makes you manage a trade, and then you see that cross down again and that happens. So you just want to get a little bit better, Sid, I think. And I don't know if you're shorting it now or if you shorted it at this signal right here. Back at 142.65. But more so, you want to get good at just being willing to say, okay, something good is going to happen here, which means bad things for my short, right? So this could mean one more rigged move up, fill a gap, then turn back down. Now it could also mean this is still going on a run. So you want to, that's why management of the trade's important. And then you can say, okay, if that shows up again, I will take that again. And if it curls up again, then you want to say, okay, now I'm looking for new signals. Does that make sense? That's why I manage trades, right? For me, volatility, where did I manage my trade? Right here. This is where I took profit. And I was still in profit because it was a great move, which is great. I think I was able to make 55% because I caught such a good level. But that being said, I still manage, see a downturn. Now I look at the state of the market. I go, hey, we're not breaking down through this level. Let me, just in case something bad happens, I'm going to just watch this, but also maybe add a small starter position, right? So that I'm doing the same thing that I'm talking about with the Nvidia play, because you could do that with Nvidia as well if you know the correct position sizing and that kind of thing, something that won't hurt you as much if you lose it. But for the most part, I just want to be like, okay, now I'm going to scale in with my first moment. And if I see things curl up, I can make a bigger play. Yeah. So I could say, you know, Nvidia, even with Nvidia, it's like if I really believe that this is a top and I know that it's outside of a monthly and we have only a few days to go back in it, I could say, let me take a small position here. This is kind of risky though, right? It's kind of risky though, because what if that just goes through the roof? So, but I could, if I wanted to, I wouldn't do that with Nvidia personally. But if that turned down, then I could say, okay, now I'm going to add the real size. Yeah, Sid. And if you, I think you've taken the course, but once you take the course, guys, it becomes so much more clear. You can ask, Lurkin Luke's probably in here somewhere going, yeah, this makes sense. Whoa, that's weird, SR. You know, it's funny. I think it was my wife's cousin. They like told us their daughter choice, their daughter's name choice. It was exactly the same as ours. Like first name and middle name and spelling. And I was like, what? Why would she do that? It's like she had to have known. She had to have known that was, there's no way. It's like she forgot that we named our kid that, but I just thought that was funny. Maybe it's just coincidence. That makes it even more fun. All right. Morning, folks. Good morning, Scott. How you doing today? Well, we got that move up. Yes, I bought your course. Highly recommend. Yeah, I highly encourage just looking at the management of a trade section again for 2-hour charts if you could, Sid. Just over the weekend, try to give that another look through, because this was a pretty obvious management of trade. And even if you wanted to keep the contracts you have here, it just means you can manage some. Right, I can manage some, see the next turn down, reapply that position. Just make some kind of move to save money while this upward push is happening, and then reapply position. But yeah, try to look through that section just take 15 minutes over the weekend and try to do that. All right, guys, I will pay attention to these things throughout the day. I will make sure to watch these things throughout the day so that I can see if I need to come live later today. As of right now, we're not necessarily seeing a big move from the dollar. We're not necessarily seeing people go dramatically to the call side. So something with that type of behavior we need to look for is the fact that the 30-minute is positive here, and that's going to be a big deal. We gapped above and broke through a zone, so anytime we do curl down, I think a healthy thing for the market would be curling down and then curling back up. Curling down and curling back up. That would be the big thing that I'd be paying attention to. That's what's up, Lurkin Luke. That's what's up. Love fading this channel. Well, if you're taking the opposite plays as us right now, then you lost money today because we thought we'd go higher. So that's you're probably actually accidentally doing what we're doing if you made money today. But that being said, guys, I do have to hop off. I will pay attention to the rig behavior to see what is going on throughout the day. Watch out if this makes some kind of, I would say, head and shoulders. I think that is how this would really like to head higher. Okay, now if this is going to flip back down, that's where you want to pay attention. This 2 hour has not crossed yet. It's very likely to, I think, and we were looking for the possibility of a new all-time high in last night's video, so I think that this would be the way to see that, and then we'll watch out for reversals up here. Some interesting things going on in the market, but those are the things I think you should be paying attention to. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. You guys are fantastic, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Turn those notifications on because I might be back later today if we see something funky happening in the market. We haven't had to come back later on in the day, but just make sure you have those notifications on because once I do see it, I will try to be here to notify you guys about it live. Have a great day. Peace out, homies.